It's harvest in Northern California, which is a very exciting time of year, so I thought we'd head out to Winters, my hometown, about an hour east of the Scribe Farm, and check out the almond harvest so we can pick up some new crop almonds and bring them back to the hacienda to make a honey almond pie. To make the honey almond pie, we'll start by cleaning up our almonds. First we'll remove the hull and then the shell and get them toasting in the oven. New crop almonds are just so sweet and creamy. They're so much different when they're this fresh. It's delicious. So now we can throw these almonds in the oven to toast. I have a 250-degree oven. We'll turn the fan on. And when almonds are this fresh, they'll take a little bit longer to toast because there's so much moisture in there. So we'll check them after 30 minutes, and they might need another 15, I think. But we'll take a look. These look good. Nice and toasty. Next, we're going to start working on our tart shell. So we'll start by melting 1 stick of butter. Once that's melted, we'll just let it cool. To make the tart shell, we're going to combine 1 cup of flour. Now add a 1/4 cup of sugar. Now a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And now we can mix this up. Now we have a teaspoon of vanilla. We can add that to our cooled butter. Mix that a little bit and then pour that into the flour. So once all the flour and butter are incorporated, we can press it into our tart shell. I have a 9-inch tart pan here. So we're gonna start by going around the edge and pressing in the crust. Once the edge is done, we'll go in and do the middle, the bottom. Okay, our crust is looking pretty good. I'm gonna go through and just press it in one more time, go around. Now I'm just pressing it into the base here. You wanna try to stay pretty even. Okay, now I'm gonna throw this in the freezer for just a couple of minutes before we put it in the oven to bake. We want it to set up a little bit. Now we can get our tart shell into a 350-degree oven for about 20 minutes. We want it to be fully cooked and lightly golden brown. And now we can start making our filling. We just recently did a big honey harvest from our beehives here on the farm. So we're gonna use that, which is very exciting. So we're gonna combine a 1/2 cup of honey with a cup of milk, a tablespoon of sugar, and a little bit of salt. Oof. To the honey, we'll add the cup of cream, a tablespoon of sugar, and then a pinch of salt, maybe a little bit more. And now we'll warm this up on the stove just until all the sugar and honey dissolves. So now this is all dissolved and we can let it cool. While our honey and cream mix is cooling, we can chop up some almonds. I'm going to roughly chop 3/4 of a cup, and then a 1/4 of a cup of that we're gonna pound in the mortar and pestle, so we'll have like a paste, like a nut butter, and then some chunkier, coarser cut almonds. So I'm gonna throw a handful of these nuts into the mortar and pestle and pound that. Our honey and cream mixture is cooled, so now we can add 1 egg, whisked, and then a little splash of almond extract. And just whisk that up. Now I'm gonna add our pounded almonds first and get those whisked in. Yum. And lastly, we can get our chopped almonds in there. And now we can pour this into our tart shell and get it in the oven. Yum. So it's like a glove. What should you say? Okay, 350-degree oven. Now we can check our tart in 25 minutes and probably give it a little rotation. Okay, our pie is smelling delicious. Let's take a look. It's been about 30 minutes. It looks very nice. So the outside edge is looking nice and golden brown, and there's a little bit of jiggle still in the middle, and that'll set as it cools. So we'll pull it out at this point. Okay, now our tart is cool, and we can remove the outer ring delicately. Very nice. Our crust looks great. Fully cooked. I'm gonna leave it on the bottom disc just because. Okay, now let's cut into it for a slice. Yum, looks great. It's so delicious. It's a nice like custardy texture, and the honey as it bakes gets really caramelized and kind of rich. And we get the crunchy almond. The crust is like a shortbread cookie, salty and sweet. It's delicious.